Hello viewers, welcome to our tutorial on result-based management. I am Abrar Hussain and today we will explore result-based management or result-based monitoring or result-based monitoring and evaluation systems RBM and how RBM can enhance project effectiveness and efficiency by focusing on results and achieving meaningful impacts. This is an in-depth guide to RBM and I will also give you lots of examples from different sectors on how to apply result-based management or result-based M&E systems. Do watch this video till the end, it will give you lots of new insights.
Key contents that we will cover in this video tutorial. Number one, result-based management RBM versus result-based M&E. What are the differences? Then we will discuss definition of key terms used in RBM. What is RBM? What are results change? After that, we will discuss how RBM can be applied in different sectors. Then we will discuss benefits of RBM and key principles. Similarly, we will also explore components of RBM. What are the key steps in RBM and what are the examples from different sectors. We will also explore key challenges in RBM and their solution. And I will also give you references for further reading related to RBM at the end of this video tutorial. Already uploaded 3 video tutorial in this series. In the first one, we covered some foundational aspects of monitoring, evaluation and research, and in the second session discussed monitoring and detail, and in the third one, evaluation. If you haven't watched these videos, the links are given in the description and here also. And if you want to learn data analysis, Excel, Access and other skills, so visit my channel. You will find proper playlists of relevant contents on each subject. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share with your family and friends and hit the notification bell. RBM is the need of today. Result-based management or result-based monitoring or M&E systems are required to achieve project objectives and goals. Result-based management is a comprehensive approach that integrates planning, monitoring, evaluation and reporting to focus on achieving measurable results. It's crucial for enhancing project efficiency and effectiveness. In this presentation, we will cover the key components of RBM and how it can be applied across different sectors. A result-based monitoring RBM or result-based management are often used interchangeably, but they have distinct meaning and application. In short, result-based management is an approach that includes result-based monitoring as part of its comprehensive management strategy aimed at achieving desired results and improving overall performance. While result-based monitoring is a component of the broader result-based management framework, focusing on tracking progress and measuring performance.
Before diving deep into our topic, first let's discuss some of the key terms used in RBM.
Key terms like results, results change, impact, goal, outcome, output, activities, inputs, and performance indicator. These are some of the key terms usually used in RBM. So let's discuss each one of them briefly. Results are the changes we see in a situation or condition brought about by a cause and effect relationship. These changes come in 3 forms. All of these 3 are triggered by an activity or an intervention. The first one is outputs. These are the tangible products or services produced by an intervention. Then we have outcome. These represent the broader effects or benefits resulting from an intervention or activity. And the next one is the impact. This refers to the long-term significant changes that an intervention brings about. These changes can either intended or unintended, and they may have positive or negative consequences. In the definition of key terms, on this slide we discussed results, forms of these results, which are outputs, outcome, and impact. The next one is a results change. The results change describe the step-by-step process of a development intervention, outlining what needs to happen to achieve the desired outcome. It starts with inputs, move through activities and outputs, and ends with outcomes, ultimately leading to overall goal or impact. So you can see this is basically an example of a result chain. Here you can see it starts from input, then activities, outputs, outcome, and then impact. Another term is impact. Impact implies changes in people's lives. This might include changes in knowledge, skill, behavior, health, or living condition for children, adults, families, or communities. Similarly, these effects can be economic, socio-cultural, institutional, environmental, technological, or of other types. Different projects have different impacts. Positive impact should be aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal (SDG), previously called MDGs, or internationally agreed development goals and national development goals. Impact should be aligned with these. We should also consider human rights as outlined in Constitution, as well as national commitments to international convention and treaties. So your impact should be aligned to that also. Here you can see the link of the website where you can visit, and you can see all these different types of goals, their indicators, targets. You can also find their reports on these different sustainable development goals. Goal is another term that is used in RBM. This is the specific result we have to achieve as a consequence of an intervention, or it is the higher level objective that aims to build national capacity into which the development intervention contributes. In next slides you will see lots of examples related to these different terminologies, so don't worry about that. Then outcome. Outcomes are the changes in institutional and behavioral capacities that occur between completing outputs and achieving the overall goals. Outputs are the changes in skills, abilities, and capacities of individual or institutions, or the availability of new products and services that come from completing activities within a development intervention. So these are within the organization's control and are achieved with provided resources and within the specified time period. Activity, you will also see terms like activity. Activities are actions taken or work performed through which inputs such as funds, technical assistance, and other type of resources are mobilized to produce specific outputs. So these activities contribute to output. Then we have inputs, the financial, human, material, technological, and information resources used for development. And another term which usually we come across in RBM is performance indicator. A performance indicator is basically a tool we use to measure something specific, like the success of a project. It can be a number or a description helping us see how well the project or investment is doing. These are some terminologies which are used in RBM.
Now let's explore RBM in detail.
As we discussed in our previous slides also, RBM is defined as a management strategy by which processes, outputs, and services contribute to the achievements of clearly stated expected accomplishments and objectives. RBM is a management approach by which all actors contributing directly or indirectly to achieving a set of results ensure that their processes, products, and services contribute to the achievement of desired results like outputs, outcomes, and higher level goals or impact. This is the overall result-based management diagram, where you can see all these different stages or different components of result-based management. There are three stages: planning, monitoring, evaluation. And then under the planning, here you can see setting the vision or the objectives, defining the results map, and the framework, objectives, outcome, impact. Then planning for monitoring and evaluation. Here you can see implementation and using monitoring information, and then managing and using evaluations. This cycle completes on managing and using evaluation. Using evaluation is very important because this cycle needs to start again. Here you can see this portion shows us the monitoring part, which is a component of the result-based management overall approach. So if you learn what result-based management is, you will learn result-based M&E or result-based monitoring system as well. It responds to the key question: how we are doing. What processes, product, services must be in the right direction, contributing to achieving desired results, and how we use data, information, and evidence collected to analyze whether the direction is right and inform a decision making on the PPS or the design and delivery of a project or programs. This is the feedback loops which we must continue during our project implementation. Do, learn, and adjust. Do the activity, learn from that activity, what is good, what is not good, and then adjust those activities, and then again. The changes that we desire via implementation of different projects to achieve are most of the time uncertain and involve many stakeholders. So that's why we use RBM. Another reason why we use RBM is it helps us stay focused. It keeps us in line with our mission, vision, standards, norms, and other parameters like human rights based approach, equity, gender, etc. So in short, result-based management is a methodology that focuses the achievement of results at various levels like inputs, activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts. It's like combining monitoring and evaluation. RBM is basically a shift from this traditional approach where our focus was usually on this side as to focus on this side. The outputs, outcomes, and impact are good. In the traditional management and M&E approach, our focus was on inputs, activities, outputs. In the RBM approach, our focus is on the outputs, outcomes, and impact. This is the shift from the traditional M&E or traditional management approach to result-based management approach. It's not that in RBM approach we ignore the inputs and activity. We do not ignore these. It's not that we ignore these. These are very important and are the key steps towards output, outcome, and impact. It is just that the main focus is on output, outcomes, and impact while tracking the inputs and activities. Simply look at this result chain. Here you can see inputs, activities, outputs, outcome. In the traditional monitoring systems, we usually focus on inputs, activity, outputs, while this comes under evaluation. But in result-based management, we usually cover all of the components of the results chain, mostly focusing on this area while tracking inputs and activities as well.
Now here comes the most important part of this tutorial, components of RBM. What are those key components or different stages of RBM that we need to learn?
RBM framework includes several key components. Planning to set clear objectives, then monitoring to track the progress, then evaluating to assess achievements, and then comes reporting to communicate result. The last one is learning to adapt and improve based on the results. These are the key components of RBM, and each component play a crucial role in ensuring that projects are on track and achieving their goal. These are the different stages and the different components which constitute RBM: planning, monitoring, evaluating, then reporting, and then learning and adaptation based on the reports or the evaluation and the monitoring data, and then planning, setting or revising or modifying our objectives.
Now let's discuss each component in detail. We will start from component 1, which is planning, means setting RBM framework, clear objectives and results.
3 steps to follow. Number 1 is defining clear objectives and outcomes, then developing indicators to measure progress, and the third step is to establish baseline and set target. It will make the initial result-based management plan or monitoring plan or M&E plan. Step 1, planning, defining clear objectives and outcomes. Ensure focus and direction. That is very important. We need to ensure our focus and direction. We need to be relevant to the project outcomes and objectives. Aligns activity with the desired results. Whatever results you want from a project, so we need to align our activity with those results by providing a clear framework for what needs to be. For example, here you can see a table. On this side you can see sector, here you can see objective and outcome. These are the examples of clear objectives and outcomes in different sectors. You can see here, for example, the first one, education. In education, our objective: improve student literacy rates. So the example of outcome: higher literacy test scores, increased reading proficiency. In health, an objective could be reduce maternal mortality rates. So the outcomes would be improved maternal health, increase access to quality healthcare. Similarly, in the wash, an example could be increase access to clean water. So the outcome: reduced waterborne disease, improved health and hygiene. I am showing these examples just to show you the relevance between objectives and outcomes in different sectors. NDRR, it could be enhance community resilience to disasters, so better preparedness, reduced impact of disaster. In humanitarian sector, it could be improve food security in conflict affected area, so the outcomes would be in increased food distribution. Step 2 under component 1 is to develop indicators to measure progress. And the purpose of these indicators is not only to measure progress and performance, but also to provide data for decision and enhance transparency and accountability by showing how well objectives are being achieved. Let me give you some examples for this step 2 in different sectors. In step 2, we have to develop indicator to measure progress. So example of indicators relevant to the objective in sector could be in education. For example, if the objective is improve student literacy rate, so the indicator would be literacy test score, student attendance rates, etc. In health, if the objective is reduce maternal mortality rate, so our indicators could be maternal mortality ratio, percentage of births attended by skilled personnel. Similarly, in wash, increase access to clean water, so percentage of household with access to clean water, incidence of waterborne diseases. These could be the relevant indicator related to that objectives. Similarly, in DRR, you can see enhance community resilience to disaster. If this is an objective, so the indicator could be number of disaster preparedness plans, frequency of emergency drills, etc. Similarly, in humanitarian, improve food security in conflict area, quality of food aid distributed. So these are some of the examples of indicators relevant to the objective. And then the step 3 is to establish baseline and set target. Baselines provide a starting point, targets set the direction and goals, and it helps measure progress over time. Examples of baseline and target in different sector. Here you can see the sector objective and then the baseline and then the target. The same objectives are written here which we discussed in previous step. Now we are adding baseline and targets. So for example, in education it was improve student literacy rate. So the baseline would be what are the current literacy test score, and target you can set a target to increase this literacy test score by 20% or 30% according to the resources of the project and how many years. That you can decide according to the resources in the project activities and outputs available to you. In health, if the objective is reduce maternal mortality rates, so we would need current maternal mortality ratio for the baseline, and our target would be to reduce maternal mortality ratio by 30% in 5 years. Duration is also mentioned and target is also mentioned. This 30% in 5 years can be 20% in 2 years or 50% in 10 years according to the outputs and the resources available to you and your project, and that can be decided by the management. In WASH, if the objective is increase access to clean water, so here you can see percentage of households with access to clean water, and the target would be to increase access to clean water 40% or 50% according to your resources. NTRR enhance community resilience to disaster. So for the baseline we would need current level of preparedness, and in the target we can achieve 90% community preparedness within 3 years, 4 years, whatever your requirement is. These are just examples of the baseline and the target related to that specific objective. Now we will discuss component 2, monitor, tracking progress towards a result. When you have completed planning, when you have developed objectives, outcomes and indicator, so the next component in RBM is then monitoring, which involves tracking progress towards the set objectives and outcomes. Monitoring performance involves collecting data through methods such as surveys, reports, and direct observation. Monitoring also provides essential data for informed decision making, enhances transparency and accountability by showing how well objectives are being achieved, and it also helps in the identification of challenges and solutions. And similarly, it provides data for decision making, ensures accountability and transparency. Give you some examples of this component 2 in different sectors. Implementation of monitoring in different sectors. For example, in education sector, improve student literacy rate. If this is our objective, so our monitoring would be to regularly assess literacy in schools or areas which we have targeted. So that would be our monitoring. Regular literacy assessments. In health, if the objective is reduce maternal mortality rate, so our monitoring would be to track maternal health indicators. In WASH, if the objective is increase access to clean water, so our monitoring would focus on a regular water quality testing. In DRR, if the objective is enhance community resilience to disaster, so our monitoring would focus on frequent emergency drills, collecting data about these drills. And similarly, in humanitarian, if the objective is improve food security in conflict affected area, so our monitoring would be to track food distribution in those areas. Now the next component, which is component 3, is evaluation. Assessing the achievements of results. As we discussed in previous slides, that cycle starts from setting clear objectives, then it goes to planning, then it goes to monitoring, and now it comes to evaluation. Evaluation techniques include both qualitative and quantitative analysis to assess whether objectives are being met or not. Evaluation also identifies successes and challenges and provide valuable insights for improvement in ensuring that the project remains effective and focused on achieving its objective. I'll give you some examples for component 3 evaluation in different sectors. Here you can see again the same table. Objectives are written and what would be the evaluation method. So for example, in education, if our objective is improve student literacy rates, so the evaluation would be annual review of literacy programs. Similarly, in health, reduce maternal mortality rates, so our evaluation would be midterm and end of project evaluations to see whether the project has reduced maternal mortality rates or not. In WASH, if the objective is increase access to clean water, so our evaluation could be a biannual or annual impact assessments. NDRR, if the objective is enhance community resilience to disasters, so our evaluation, we could have an evaluation of post-disasters evaluation. And for humanitarian, improve food security in conflict-affected area, and this is the objective. So our evaluation could be quarterly or biannually or annual beneficiary surveys to see whether the food security has been improved or not. The fourth component in RBM is reporting, which involves communicating results to stakeholders. Effective reporting is crucial for ensuring accountability. Comprehensive report should clearly communicate results to stakeholders, showing how objectives are being met and where improvements are needed. Here we can see some examples of reporting. You can see here the objective and then the reporting and decision making. For example, in education sector, if our objective was improve student literacy rates, so reporting would be annual literacy report to stakeholders. And based on this report, our decision making could be adjusting literacy based on results. So here you can see the link of the objectives with monitoring, indicators, evaluation, reporting, decision making. Every example you can see, these all should be linked properly. In health, if our objective was reduced maternal mortality, so our reporting could be biannual health impact reports or quarterly health impact reports, and that could be used for decision making like modifying health intervention based on finding. Similarly, here you can see the same thing for WASH. This one shows a DRR, and here you can see a humanitarian sector objective. In every slide, I try to show you examples of different sector for different companies. And now the last component is learning and adaptation, using results to improve. As we discussed in previous slide, if you receive those reports, so now what we can learn from these reports and evaluation and monitoring, and how we can adapt and use these learning to improve in future. Adaptive management is an important aspect of RBM, involving flexibility and responsiveness to changing conditions. It uses performance data to make informed adjustment to strategies, activities, ensuring that the project remains on track and adapts to new challenges or opportunities. This involves using the results from monitoring, evaluation, and reporting to making necessary adjustment and improvement. Continuous learning and adaptation ensure that the project remains effective and responsive to changing needs and contexts. You can see some examples for different sectors related to learning and adaptation. On this slide also you can see same objectives are written here. Now how we can ensure learning and adaptation. So in education, if our objective was improve student literacy rates, so the learning and adaptation, adjusting literacy programs based on assessment results. We collect some information during monitoring and evaluation related to literacy rates. So how we can use those findings to learn and adapt, to adjust our programs based on those results. Similarly, in health, you can see this example of learning and adaptation example here. In WASH, you can see the examples of learning and adaptation. And DRR, this one is the example of learning and adaptation, and in Humanitarian, a learning and adaptation examples could be there. So basically, as we discussed here, once again I am showing the same diagram. Here you can see the first step is planning to set clear objective, then you are going to monitor to track progress, then evaluation to assess achievements, and then reporting to communicate results, and the last component is learning to adapt and improve based on the results. These are basically the key components of RBM, and in previous slide I gave you examples of different sector for each of the component of RBM, and we also discussed 3 sub-components of planning, in which we discuss clear objectives, developing indicators, and RBM framework, etc.
Just like components, there are 7 key steps which we need to learn to ensure effective result-based management. Now we will discuss all these 7 steps and their application in different sectors like health, education, WASH, DRR, humanitarian.
First one is to define objective, as we discussed in previous slide. Clear, specific, and measurable goals aligned with the project overall aim. This is our step 1. When we are defining objectives, so we need to be clear, specific, and we need to set measurable goals which are aligned with the project's overall aim. Then the next step, to develop indicators, so quantitative or qualitative variables that provide a simple and reliable means to measure achievement. Then the next step, set baseline and targets. So initial set of data collected before project intervention begins, and targets are specific desired level of performance. Then the next step is to collect data. Various methods you can use: surveys, focus group, interviews, administrative data, etc. And then comes analyzing that data through different software using statistical and qualitative methods. And after that, the next step is to report and use the data, share findings with stakeholders through reports and dashboards, and use that data to inform decision making and improve project strategies. This one is very important. So these are those key steps which you need to take to do effective result-based management. Let's apply them to an education project aimed at improving student attendance rate. For example, here I will show you applying these steps in different sectors. So for example, in education sector, our step 1 is to define objective. If we set an objective like improve student attendance rate, so step 2 would be to develop indicators, and those indicators should be properly linked to the objective. For example, for this objective, our indicators could be daily attendance records, student survey. Example of step 3, which is baseline. So we need to take current average attendance rate because our objective is improve student attendance rate. This is an example of how these steps should be linked. Then the 4th step example is target. So we can set a target. For example, if the current is 75%, so we can say increase attendance rate to 90% in 2 years or 95%, whatever your resources are. So according to that, you can set that target. Example of step 5, collect data. We can collect monthly attendance tracking by annual surveys. And for step 6, To analyze the data, so we can compare monthly attendance rate, analyze survey responses, and to see whether we are improving in attendance rates or not. And then the seventh step, which is report and use data. So the example in this scenario for this objective would be to create quarterly report for stakeholder, adjust intervention as needed. So this is an example from an education sector for all these 7 steps of result-based management. I give you another example from health sector. For example, step 1 is to set objectives. So we have, for example, an objective: increase vaccination coverage among children. Now all steps would be linked to this objective. So if the objective is increase vaccination coverage among children, so indicator would be vaccination records, community health surveys, baseline would be current vaccination coverage rate, target would be increase vaccination coverage to 90% or whatever your resources, you can set that target. Collect data, monthly vaccination data, annual health day survey, and then for analyzing the data, so we can assess trends in vaccination coverage, survey health outcomes, etc. And then for report and use data, we can produce annual health reports and implement changes based on findings. So this is an example from a health sector for all these 7 steps which we need to take during result-based management. On this slide, you will see an example from wash sector. So here you can see the objective. This is for a wash project. You can see here, if you have a wash project and you have defined improved sanitation facility in rural area, so obviously your indicators will be number of household with improved sanitation facilities, water quality test, baseline current sanitation coverage, target, collect data, analyze data, and report. This is an example from the wash. On this slide, you can see an example from DRR sector, step 1, 2, 3, then we have step 4 and step 7. Here you can see related to DRR. If your objective is increase disaster preparedness in vulnerable communities, so number of household with disaster kits, frequency of community drills, these could be your indicator related to this objective, and then baseline, target, collect data, analyze data, and these were some of the examples which I showed you related to these 7 steps which are very important during implementing result-based management approaches.
RBM is guided by several key principles, which includes focusing on clear objectives and outcomes, ensuring accountability for achieving results, fostering a culture of learning through continuous improvement, and maintaining transparency and reporting our results. These principles help projects are managed effectively and achieve their intended impact.
Result-based management offers numerous benefits that contribute to the overall success and efficiency of project. Let's look at some key advantages. For example, improved accountability. RBM ensures that all stakeholders, including project manager and team members, are accountable for achieving the set results. This accountability fosters a culture of responsibility and ownership. Another benefit of RBM is it enhances decision making. By focusing on measurable results and using performance data, RBM enhances the decision-making process. It helps project manager make informed choices that are based on evidence rather than assumptions. Increased transparency. RBM promotes transparency by regularly reporting progress and results to stakeholders. This openness builds trust and supports effective communication. Another benefit of RBM is better resource allocation. With a clear focus on outcomes, RBM helps allocate resources more efficiently. It ensures that funds, time, and efforts are directed towards activities that will yield the best results. Another benefit is it focuses on results. By promoting outcomes and impact, RBM ensures that projects remain goal-oriented and aligned with their objectives. This result-oriented approach leads to more meaningful and sustainable impacts. Similarly, greater stakeholder engagement. RBM involves stakeholders in the planning, monitoring, and evaluation processes. This engagement ensures that their needs and perspectives are considered, leading to more relevant and expected outcomes. Another benefit is continuous improvement. RBM encourages a culture of learning and adaptation. By continuously monitoring and evaluating performance, project can identify areas for improvement and adjust their strategies accordingly.
Result-based management offers several benefits, but it also comes with its own set of challenges. Let's discuss some of the key challenges encountered in RBM and what could be the possible solutions for those challenges.
Data ensuring the accuracy, completeness, and timeliness of data can be challenging. Poor data quality can lead to incorrect conclusion and ineffective decision making. Another challenge could be resource limitation, resistance to change, complexity in measuring results, stakeholders engagement, capacity building, sustainability of efforts. These are some of the challenges which we will discuss here on this slide. Here you can see a table summarizing the key challenge and result-based management along with their potential solution. For example, resource constraint, limited financial, human or technical resources have a bad impact on RBM implementation. Solutions are prioritized key. Similarly, partnership and funding sources build capacity through training. Here you can see the challenge. Here you can see description of the challenge, and here you can see what could be the possible solution for those challenges. So here you can see data collection and analysis difficulties. Similarly, resistance to change. Stakeholder may resist to adopting new management practices or changes in process. So these are some of the solutions that you can see on this side. Similarly, another challenge, complexity of monitoring and evaluation, lack of clear objectives and outcomes, that could be a challenge. So here you can see the description, and here you can see the solution. You can pause the video to read all these solutions. Similarly, another challenge could be inadequate stakeholder engagement, insufficient training and capacity, challenges in data interpretation, monitoring and evaluation, integration. So these are some of the challenges and issues along with their description and proposed solution. These challenges you can face during RBM. So if you focus on these solutions, so you can have an effective RBM system. You can also read some documents from UNICEF and UN Habitat. Links are given in the description of this video. Here you can see this book, which is very good and developed by United Nations for result-based management. Another one is Result-Based Management Handbook developed by UN Habitat. So you can see the links of these documents in the description. You can read them to further improve your understanding of result-based management. To conclude, result-based management is essential improving project effectiveness by focusing on clear objectives, using performance data, and adopting strategies.
Feel free to share your thoughts or ask for clarification on any aspects of RBM that we have covered. Do share in the comments. See you in the next video in which we will cover some more aspects of result-based management. Thank you all for joining me in this exploration of result-based management. Your engagement is valuable to me. Please feel free to leave any feedback or suggestion for topics that you would like us to cover in our tutorial. Have a great day. If you like the video, click the like button, share with your family and friends, and do share your comments. Subscribe the channel. Have a great day.
If you visit our channel, so you can find lots of YouTube and playlists on monitoring, evaluation and research, what is monitoring, how to do it, designing logical framework, result framework, theory of change. Similarly, we have playlists of Microsoft Excel, learning data analysis function. So there are lots of tutorial on data analysis, how to do. There are lots of tutorial on how to do online data collection with Kobo, MS Form, Google Forms, online data collection tools, Kobo. You can improve a lot of your skills through easy ways to collect online data and analyze that. Similarly, ChatGPT and other AI tools, MS Access, if you want to learn Microsoft Access, so there is a detailed tutorial on MS Access and SPSS, and similarly other tutorials that can benefit you a lot. We also provide one-on-one session if you are interested to learn about any of these topics. Here you can see the WhatsApp number or Skype ID, email address. You can contact us. We provide one-on-one sessions also that we can discuss through WhatsApp or email.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, share with your family and friends, and hit the notification bell.